welcome back to my channel. My name is Tina and today it's time for another one of my Makeup and Murder series. Makeup and Murder is all about makeup and murder. It's a true crime get ready with me style video. I talk about a true crime as I put on my makeup and get ready to go. This is going to be a current case. There will be graphic content as always. This is the look that everybody picked on Facebook. Gray and black and white smoky eye. Just because I use these as inspiration doesn't mean that, you know, these are going to be exactly the look I go for. Today we're going to be talking about a, well, pretty current serial killer family that happened from Russia. Be aware, I will be murdering the names of these people. I don't speak Russian. I will do my best. I apologize sincerely to those of you from this beautiful area of the world with this beautiful language. This is going to be about the Amazon gang. They had been killing for a long time. It was a mother, two daughters. And the mother's, I believe she was 43 at the time. The father was 35. And then their daughters were 25 and 13. It was crazy when I got reading about it. I'm going to tell you what makeup I'm going to use, and then we will jump into the actual murder. First, I'm going to prime with my Elizabeth Mott Thank Me Later primer, as well as the eye primer. I will be using these palettes, the Japanesque and Too Faced Chocolate Gold palettes. My foundation will be the Matte Studio Sculpt with a bit of Wet n Wild. For concealer, I'll also be using the Wet n Wild concealer, probably with the Colourpop, and I think that'll do it to get started. So we're talking about Inessa, Tarverdieva, Tarverdieva. As I said, I'm gonna kill these names. I'm sorry. We have Inessa, her husband Roman Hedkabov, and their two daughters, Ivanka and Anastasia. So Ivanka was 25 and Anastasia is the youngest at 13. The youngest obviously probably wasn't involved. I know that the information that I have that is in English is incomplete. So this is a middle class family. The father is a certified dentist. The mother is a nursery school teacher. I'm not sure what the oldest daughter did by the time they were arrested. They're middle class, so why they decided to do this, you know, we'll get into that at the end of this. I find it just fascinating. They had family who was helping them outside their daughters. An uncle, I believe, who was a police officer, would give them sort of inside information. What they would do was they would pretend they were going camping, and they said that they treated these trips like going to the office. They lived in Divanya in Starfpool. The very first murder they think that happened was Inessa's first husband died kind of mysteriously. They got away with it. Then, you know, over time, this sort of became something they realized they could get away with. So on February 17th, 2008, this is when their like murdering for profit started. But they had murdered a couple people supposedly before this, the ex-husband and then somebody else. So one of her previous husbands, she had a couple previous like men she was with. One of them died mysteriously on a power line grid. I don't know the information about that case. On February 17th of 2008 in Acacia, they murder Michael Zidny. He was the head of the Information and Security Department for the State Drug Control Services. He and his wife were shot in their home, and then the killers robbed the place, stole, you know, electronics and guns and whatever they could get their hands on. With a job like that, they're gonna look into people who probably killed him related to his job. I don't think these guys were under investigation. I'm just gonna take the lightest shade out of here, put it out across my lid. I totally spaced out my brows. I'm just gonna use my Brow Gal pencil. So the first murder happens, they don't have any problems. Then, July 2009, the family overpowered and shot Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Chuklakov, his wife and 7-year-old son were parked on the shoulder of the highway or something. They were all shot with a long gun. They had their daughter also in the car. Veronica, she was 11. She was stabbed 37 times. once again robbed them, stole computers and other small electronics. Again, because he was a police officer, they were looking for an actual gang or something. This family wasn't even on the radar at the time. So then, in 2010, they murder and rob 2 teenage girls. They believe were Tarverdieva's or the father's goddaughter or something. They knew that they had weapons and money, so they killed them, gouged out their eyes, and just left them in a horrible, horrible mess, showing zero mercy for the children. I'm gonna start using that dark charcoal and blending it into the black. On March 10th of 2009, broke into a house and killed the 2 residents who lived there. And apparently Russia's rules on these things are different because some of these names I have and others I don't. I'm not sure why that is. They break into their house, they shoot them, and then they finish them off with a knife. They're developing a signature to how they're killing. On September 19th of 2012 in Novocheskka, they break in 26-year-old Vladimir Mandrik and 22-year-old Vasily Komforans, 2 employees of a private security company who responded to the alarms going off at a local dental clinic. The family took the security guard service weapon, which included a Kalashnikov, which is their machine guns, basically. Very dangerous weapons. So they disarm them of the Kalashnikov and 2 other pistols and kill them. And then on November 29th of 2012, in the same town, the family infiltrated the home of Novocheskki, and a taxi driver, Vadimin Lozakov. The man attempted to pursue them, but was killed for using probably the Kalashnikov that they had stolen from the security guards. March 16th of 2013, in Akasi, the family killed a car inspector, Nikolai Knutskin, who left his apartment after hearing his car alarm go off and seeing suspicious people near his car. He attempted to detain them. They killed him. They're killing people because they're inconvenient or they have money. They want to kill people who have something to give them or to avoid being in trouble. April 8th of 2013, on the outskirts of Novokosher Kasich, I have no idea. The family shot at a car of a grocery store employees responding to the alarms that were going off from their break-in. They wounded the driver, Nikola Kaservia. Her partner, Yuri, forget the last names. Nikola survived. Yuri died later on the way to the hospital. April 24th, 2013, Akasi district, the family murdered a 39-year-old police lieutenant, Andrei Urin, who was going out for a late night drive. He was shot point blank shortly after leaving his home. The family attempted to break in, but the doors were all locked and they couldn't get out. In September 8th of 2013, after shooting an unarmed couple, the father and older daughter proceeded to rob the home of a family of military officer Akasi Rostov. After finding no money, they proceeded to steal food, candles, and alcohol, of all damn things. You know, this was all about what they could get from people, and it didn't matter what it was. And this is where things really just go all to hell for them. The father and daughter escape on a scooter and are getting away, and they're stopped by a couple of police officers. They're getting pulled over and asked for their papers and information, and instead of doing that, they pull out a gun and start shooting at them. You want to get some cops' attention and have everybody looking for you? Start shooting at them. These 2 here are shimmers. I'm just going to start bringing them in on my lid. And I'm going to take the lighter shade, bring it in further, and then going to the white shade, putting that on my inner corner. Now I'm going to clean up this mess by doing my concealer. So at this point, this family has killed a bunch of people. The police have really been looking at for them because they killed these families, and several of them were law enforcement families. They killed 6 police officers. They opened fire on the cops and killed Shalakavia. The father, Ramon, was killed shortly after that in a shootout with the police because he started shooting at them. He's dead. The daughter is seriously wounded. They had left the youngest to guard an entire arsenal of guns and grenades and just all the stuff they had been stealing that trip. You know, they find youngest daughter at this campsite with all this stuff, and that of course has all the evidence. These guys are the one who's been killing everybody. They find the mother. The mother is just a piece of work. She says that she was born to be a gangster and she liked to kill cops and wish she'd killed more cops. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my fingers and smudge under my eyes. I want to get some shimmer on my lid. I'm just gonna take a really little brush and take Dripping Diamonds, which is the silver right here, and I'm gonna take some NYX glitter glue, tap that on my lid, and then put some of the shimmer right there. Now they're all caught. She's in jail. Oldest daughter is in the hospital from being in the shootout with her dad. They've solved this case. Nobody can quite believe that this entire family was involved. And apparently it also extended to some aunts and uncles who were helping to get the items fenced and stuff. And then the uncle who was a cop. No country likes having dirty cops on the payroll, especially dirty cops who kill other cops. I'm gonna use this Elizabeth Arden blue eyeliner. I think with this black look it'll be really pretty. And I'm gonna use the Note blush. I'm gonna use my Tarte Pro Glow Kit and use this for contour, bronzer, and highlight. Families obviously got some serious problems. Families don't normally kill like this. When they do, typically they're very clannish. These guys didn't have to kill. They did because the mother, I think when she said she wanted to be a gangster and that she was a gangster person, I think she was being deadly serious. I also think that whole middle class thing that she had contributed to this. They were bored and had gotten away with murder when they first got together, and I think that this was just a way for them to not only get them extra things, guns and money and all that, and that I'm a badass feeling. I pretty much guarantee you that's how she saw herself, and that played a huge part in this. She didn't like cops because one had ran off with another woman. Only she's allowed to do that because she's a psychopath, so that's how they think. She brought her children into it because psychopaths have one of two things with children. Either they don't give a damn about them at all, or they view their children as an extension of themselves. I would bet you that's exactly what happened here. She viewed her kids as a part of her. Why wouldn't a 13-year-old be welcome on a family excursion to go kill people? She said that she never killed any of the children. That could be true. I think that's probably true because most of them were killed with a knife. That's a huge difference between somebody killing with a knife and then killing with a gun. Totally different pathologies and everything go into that. People who kill with a gun will kill with a knife. You don't usually shoot somebody with a pistol and then come back and finish them off with a knife. That's weird. Not gonna happen usually unless something happened to the gun. It could have been her daughter who did that, her oldest daughter. She could have been the one stabbing people with a knife and gouging out eyes and stuff because there's something really messed up about that part. I'm just gonna take that dark silver, the white, and just do my under eye. This family definitely fits the profile with the case the Bloody Benders. Very similar. The Bloody Benders had that same thing where they were all involved in the killing and different people had different methods. One with a hammer, one with a knife. I think if you got enough of these cases, you would see that they're all culpable. I'm gonna use my Smashbox Always on Lipstick, and spoiler alert, I do think that the mother was the driving force behind this. She was a narcissist. She had this grandiose idea of who she was, this idea that she was a gangster and she wanted to kill cops and she wanted to do this and that. Her perfectly good life just wasn't enough. And her family, this was her way of brainwashing them. Maybe not the husband, but certainly her kids. You see that happen a lot. She obviously gave no damns about anybody but herself, especially her kids, or they wouldn't have been there. And her husband probably supported her through the whole thing. He was probably just a really bad guy, and the two of them got together and started killing, and then kept killing because It was fun. I have no doubt for them it was fun. That's why they called it camping and going to the office. You know, she's out there doing what she wants to do. Your possessions and what you can give them are more important to them than your life. They don't care about your life. They certainly don't care about the rules of society. These people are highly manipulative. That's oftentimes not discussed enough. People will try to contact these people and talk to them and then get sucked into shit they never even intended and start sending them money. She ruined her family, her life, her kid's life. It doesn't matter to her because in her mind, her kids are part of her. They're just an extension of her. Unfortunately, that's just how these people think. It's a mental illness. It's a very real one, and it is scary as hell. That was this week's Makeup and Murder. This is my look. I didn't really do any contouring. I just relied on the real heavy eye and a slightly bold lip and left everything else kind of more neutral because those two areas are so bold today. So let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear from you. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye!